somebody who is my friend or who is in the peer network, they should be in support. Then individual action. The individual should come into action. They should not be mere listeners or passive audience. They have to be active. They have to take part actively in it. And then feedback loop, as I've been saying, feedback loop has also been done, or the word of mouth reinforcement. So this is the proposed model, that is media centric financial engagement cycle. So these are the references, some of the references I've said, I've not added every, and then majority are from, as I said, Scopus or Q&A journals. Okay, thank you. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, or you can note down my mail. And then if you are interested in joining this research, any research scholars, if anybody who can, who is interested, obviously, or any academicians or anybody who is interested, because as I've been telling, people in the street vendors, street food, the people who are selling street food. So obviously they have a that research gap. We identified a research gap, that digital micro publics, that study has not yet been done, but it is there. That concept is there. So we will be further working on that aspect as well. So thank you so much. Thank you once again. Thank you once again, the VET and the entire organizing team for inviting me and listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now take a short tea break and kindly reassemble at 3:35 p.m.
Students can go for a break. We can assemble at 3:35.
வெளியே ரெஃப்ரெஷ்மெண்ட் அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணிருக்கு. நீங்கள் வெளியே 10 மினிட்ஸ் உள்ள
and co-chaired by Dr. Gauhar Akman, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, T.S. Abdul Rahman, Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai. I now hand over the session to our chairs with our sociology students supporting us with their
Good evening to everyone. So myself, Lucy Joseph, as introduced by the team, working as an assistant professor and also a PhD research scholar. So I will be presenting the paper on digital divide and access to financial information among textile workers, a survey-based analysis of media inclusion and policy. So as we know that digital divide is the gap between those who have access to modern information and communication technology and those who do not have access. In India, there is an acceleration, it's digital financial infrastructure like UPI, we will be doing it, right? UPI transactions, digital transactions, then direct benefit transactions, everything is there. At the same time, there is also digital divide has become a critical barrier to economic security for vulnerable labor section. The Indian financial ecosystem has undergone a paradigm shift towards digitization with the Reserve Bank of India and National Center for Financial Education promoting digital literacy. So what does it mean by digital literacy? Digital literacy is understanding the meaning of digital information. So, does the textile workers have access to information, especially financial information? That's what I'm trying to figure it out. So, the digital divide in the textile industry refers to the gap between workers who have access to modern digital technologies and digital literacy and those who rely on traditional manual process. Who are the textile workers? So from the beginning of the session, I think we have been discussing who is a textile workers, who are textile workers. Basically, they are informal communities. They have not yet come to the forefront of the wages. So mass communication and journalism, since I am from the field of media, communication and journalism, so I have gone through some of the, how the digital banking, whether the textile workers, does they get any information, financial information and all. So digital banking and payment systems are growing rapidly. As I think everyone who are present here, we might have done Paytm transactions or UPI transactions, or we might have used Yona app or Fed mobiles. Different applications are there. But does the information get by the textile workers? That's something important on the basis of the national seminar. So textile workers often face low digital access and weak financial information access. Why? Because there exists a digital divide between textile workers. So the issue is both economic as well as communicative. Information is always, we are getting information through media. So media has an important role. Device ownership does not guarantee. I have mobile, but I don't know if to go through the application means do I have digital literacy? No. That's what the research problem. Even though I have devices like smartphones, laptops, iPads, but I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to access it. I don't know how to use it for a particular reason. Then we cannot say that we have digital literacy. The objectives of the paper are to measure the extent of the digital divide, includes access, usage and skills among textile workers regarding financial platforms. Whether the textile workers get information regarding financial inclusion. So how do they get the financial information? To access the source of financial information, whether they are getting the information from television channels, WhatsApp, newspapers, bank agents, social media, and how much they trust the level of these sources. To analyze the correlation between digital media exposure and financial literacy, and to propose media policy interventions. So what are the things we need to do in order to get that information, financial information to the textile workers? So the methodology used for the study is a quantitative method, and it's a cross-sectional survey based on gender, male and female, then urban and rural. Okay, then it's a face-to-face structured questionnaire. As I have already said, literature review says that there is a digital divide among textile workers. So even if I send them through a Google survey or something, they won't be able to do it. So I have done a face-to-face structured questionnaire. So the findings states that device ownership, 65% of the respondents, which means only 78 people have their own smartphones. And in that, only 28% own a smartphone which is capable of running banking apps smoothly. Because we need, sometimes in the phone, especially in our parents' phone, it will show GPay is not supported, or some other particular banking apps are not supporting. So that is what it states. In the textile workers, only 28% own a smartphone which is capable of running banking apps smoothly, and internet access. 55% rely on daily data packs. In that, 35% rest of the 35% have no consistent internet access. If we do not have internet access, we won't be getting financial information. Okay, then the gender gap. I have already told, I have taken the stratified sampling where male and females are included, and in that, female workers are 30% of less likely to own a smartphone than male co-workers. So even though there are the population in the samplings, majority of the male candidates or male samplings are owning smartphones which are capable of doing banking applications. While WhatsApp, even though there are television information, newspaper information, then social media, then agents from the banks, they are communicating with the textile workers. WhatsApp is the most common channel, but there is another issue. We are not doing fact checking. So misinformation, there is a chance for misinformation spread through WhatsApp. Then workers who regularly watch television news or read local newspapers have a significantly higher financial literacy score, because community channels works among textile workers. And regarding digital literacy, workers with high digital literacy skills are 2.5 times more likely to access financial information independently. So they can do they go through financial information, they receive financial information, and they can act according to the financial information. Okay, they can do their own banking. They don't need to go for some other person, or they need not to go directly to the bank to get the information. Then digital literacy and exposure to verified news are the strongest predictors of accessing financial information or being income in this sample. Okay, so digital literacy and also exposure to verified news are, there is a correct correlation between the So as it was titled, what are the policies can be given? There are two policy recommendations. One thing, while we are campaigning, especially when we are campaigning through the media, we can use local language rather than using Hindi or English. We can go for local language. Then create verified WhatsApp and mobile services. We have to fact check whether the information that is spread through the or disseminated through the channels are right or wrong. Then add financial literacy to workplace training. When a new employee comes to a particular place, textile shop, they are giving how to handle, how to sell the particular product, whether the ready-mades, whether the clothes materials. At the same time, they need to get the training for handling financial literacy, and target women workers with digital support. We need to support, even though it says that women are behind the curtain or we are below literacy rate. So we have to support the women workers with the digital literacy. And concluding that even though the ownership of a device does not complete equal access to information, the real barrier is digital literacy. So we have to provide digital literacy. What is digital literacy? It is the ability to navigate apps, then differentiate verified news from rumors, and understand financial jargons. The digital divide is not merely a technological gap, it is a communication deficit that makes worse economic insecurity among textile workers. This survey-based study demonstrates that access to financial information is heavily dependent on media exposure and digital literacy. Once we become literate in digital information, we can use all these acts among or financial information. Financial inclusion will take place among the textile workers. That's it.
Professor, Department of Economics, B.S. Abdul Rahman, Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai.
Is it visual for you?
Okay. So this study is little bit technical. I will try to give you brief explanations, and in the mean, there is no much time, so within a short span of time, some 10 to 15 minutes, hardly, I will try to think. So the title of this study is Bridging the Financial Competence Divide, AI Adoption and Inclusive Growth Across India. In this study, we try to estimate or check the influence of or contribution of financial competence with AI adoption to inclusive growth in India. How the two are contributing to inclusive growth in India is a GDP, income, etc. Okay, first of all, why this transformation matters, AI finance transformation. First of all, let me tell you what is financial competence. For example, take an example of money. How we earn money, how we can spend it, where to invest, how to plan for future investment, then how to manage risk. Am I right? When you deal with financial assets, there you have a risk. Am I right? You have to purchase, you have to save, you have to invest, you have to make a plan for future. So all this comes under financial competence. And when we adopt this AI with financial competence, how both the two are contributing to inclusive growth in India. That I will tell you. See, if you see 2023, in 2023, global AI investment was only $12 billion. And it's I think 225. It has increased to global AI investment. It is, I think it's wrong here, 223, it's not 223. Gap is there some 2 to 3 years. It has increased to $340 billion. It was in 2019, it was only 9%. See, in 2024, it has increased to 61%. So when you are dealing with financial assets, in 2019, we were adopting or applying only 9% of AI. Now we are applying or adopting 61% of AI when we are dealing with financial assets. Okay, these are the 4 interlocking research questions. You can take few seconds and create this. If I explain one by one, it will take time. Causal effect on economic outcomes. What kind of effect is there, causal effect, on economic outcomes when we take into account this interaction between financial competence and AI adoption? Then distributional and spatial heterogeneity, it's an econometrics term. So I will explain this there. Then dominant predictors, say different variables or predictors of both financial competence and AI adoption. How they predict this inclusive growth, or what kind of effect is there, what kind of contribution is there, do they contribute or not, is there causal effect or not, that I will explain there in results. Then long run convergence, do they converge or not? So this is the methodology we adopted. You may be knowing principal component analysis, PCA. Maybe those who deal with statistics or those who are good in mathematics or econometrics, they know this principal component analysis. So how much covariance or variance they explain these predictors. Endogeneity addressed. Endogeneity in econometrics means when your independent variables and error term are highly correlated, autocorrelated. Then spatial and machine learning integration. In this CTD now we adopted different techniques. Is it econometrics? Is it statistics? Is it machine learning that we adopted? Then stochastic convergence dynamics. These are the methodologies. This is the methodological contribution of this technique. See, these are the data sources we used in this study, because this study is related to 28 states, 8 union territories, 36 and 140 countries. Here in results now I have taken into account some 50 or 60 countries only. See, this is the financial competence index we developed based upon PCA methodology, principal component analysis. If you check the results, see financial literacy score, how much it contributes, 0.156. It is highest among all the predictors. Am I right or wrong? Are you getting me or not? That means this financial competence, financial inclusion or financial literacy is having a role in inclusive growth or development of India. We cannot escape from financial education or knowledge. We must have, and at present we should have both financial knowledge and financial competence. How you are accessing financial resources or financial assets. Am I right? Are you getting me or not? At present, see, from morning itself, now we were focusing upon financial knowledge. At present, because of AI adoption, because of AI, artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, etc., we should have both knowledge and competence. For example, you have a knowledge, but if you don't have competence now, then in most of the cases you must be lacking. In case of financial resource, use of finance, how to earn money or how to use it, how to save, how to manage the risk, etc. That's why when you are doing a course related to, maybe you have BCom or MCom here, when you deal with finance. Nowadays, they provide both financial education and financial competence. They make you competitive in AI adoption. If AI is not there, then your performance now as compared to the one who is adopting artificial intelligence in accessing financial resources or accessing financial education or making use of finance, saving, investment, managing the risk, he will lead you. So in case of global data set now, there all these predictors they explain 67.3% variance. In case of India, it explains 71.8% variance. That means you may be getting that predictors. What is the meaning of predictors? Alright, all these predictors they predict or explain financial competence. If you focus upon these predictors now, 71% of variance is explained by these predictors to financial competence of India or they contribute towards inclusive growth or development of India. So in India it contributes more as compared to the global level. This is the theoretical framework, so let me proceed. I cannot explain all these methodologies. So this is the financial connectivity index of India based upon this principal component analysis. You can check the scores. It's not only PCA, FCI is there, financial connectivity index, financial literacy, account, this ownership, then digital payment, then AI artificial intelligence index, gross domestic product, then PM Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, then cluster which is high, medium, low, then GMM, generalized moment method one methodology is there. You can check the score of different states. Which state is leading, which is in the medium and which is in the low. You can see there Maharashtra, it tops among all the states of India in financial competence. Then we have Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Kerala. Most of the states are from Maharashtra. It's in there. It's in the, I think it is central India or then Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Kerala. They are South Indian states. Gujarat and Delhi. From northern states or that Delhi is in the center. Only two states we have from there. All other states are southern states only. Then all these states they are in the medium and these states they are in the low financial competence. Then see the case of Union Territories. Chandigarh, it tops the list. Then in the medium we have 7 other. Our Jammu and Kashmir, it's only having a score of +1. So this is the global financial competence index. Which country is leading and which is in the middle and which is in the low category. You can check from here. This is not data directly taken from this, for example, worldwide organizations. Data is used and we apply different methodologies to get the results. In economics, we are applying econometrics. So with the help of econometrics, we get all these results. So you can check the states of different countries of the world. It's not America or UK that's leading. It is Sweden, it's Norway, it's Denmark, and Canada, Australia, Germany. Then United Kingdom is there, and then United States is there. In the middle, China is leading. And in case of, see the case of India, in case of financial competence, we are in the low category. That means still we may have maximum financial knowledge, but we don't have financial competence. At present, what matters? For example, 2 students are there. One is knowledgeable, second one is competent. Competent means both knowledge and is having that competence. He can compete in the field, in his related sector. So in case of India, India is in the lowest category, low category. See the econometric results, impact of financial competence and AI on economic development. Do they have any impact on economic development or not? Financial competence index, see results are significant. AI index, artificial index, results are significant, yes, it is having an impact. Then interaction, both the two. Financial competence and artificial intelligence, do they have any impact on economic development? Yes. Then GSDP, internet penetration, school enrollment is not having here, it's not showing any impact. But all others, is it financial competence, is it artificial intelligence, or is it their interaction? Financial competence index and artificial intelligence, both the two are showing the impact. So this is the cost benefit analysis. If the India is in the low category, what we should do? If we focus upon adoption of AI or financial infrastructure, we need resources. Am I right? We will be having a cost. So how much cost we will be having? This is the cost benefit analysis. Cost will be there, and in the future benefits will be there. So how much cost is there? 5-year cost on AI education platform, AI infrastructure in low states, gender responsive financial index. You were talking about this woman. Am I right? They lag behind men in case of financial knowledge and competence. First of all, they lag behind in case of financial knowledge, and to make them competent in finance, am I right? Financial competence, it involves a cost. How much cost is there? 5-year cost, 4,200 crores. Here, AI infrastructure. AI infrastructure, IT person is sitting here, he may be knowing. AI infrastructure is costly. So, if you want to establish that AI infrastructure in low performing cities, it involves a cost of 12,800 crores. Then gender responsive financial index competence. If you want to improve that, you need a cost. So 2,100 crores. AI regulatory framework. Alright, we need a regulatory framework. We cannot adopt as it is. Am I right? It needs 680 crores. South-South cooperation. Am I right? Sometimes we need a cooperation, we need that memorandum of understanding, etc. Am I right? So we have to take initiatives. It needs some 420 crores. Total how much it is? 20,200 crores. And what is the expected gain? Plus 16.1. Then what is the GSDP impact on GSDP? How much it will increase? Plus 1.72. That means near 2%. Then what is the cost benefit ratio? It is 4.6 into 1. If you know that the formula, you will understand. So, what is the conclusion? Financial competence drives growth. Am I right? With the help of data, I showed you. AI is a powerful enabler. When there is an interaction of finance with AI adoption is there with finance, financial competence, it will lead us towards growth. Then synergy matters. This co-investment in AI infrastructure and financial education, it creates a synergistic that effect. Inclusion and equity impact. Am I right? So if you invest in AI infrastructure, etc., financial competence, it will lead us towards equity. You may be knowing the difference between equality and equity. Then policy and institutions are critical. Am I right? For that we need policy. We need the support of government institutions. India has a unique advantage that is discussed with you through with the help of cost benefit analysis. So these are the policy recommendations. National AI enabled financial education platform, targeted AI infrastructure investment in low performing states, gender responsive financial inclusion, regulatory framework for AI financial services, then global knowledge exchange and South-South cooperation. So these are some things. Thank you.
Thank you for your thought-provoking presentation, sir. Now I invite Dr. Akila Johnson to confabulate. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Akila Johnson. I work at the Department of Sociology, Malathanesius College, Kovamangalam, Kerala. So today I will be presenting a paper on financial literacy as social capital, economic security among textile workers in India. It will be a continuation of what we have discussed in today's session, but I am trying to take an interesting, trying to have an interesting take on how financial literacy is perceived. So textile sector in India is, as we know, it is highly labor intensive, and it has got a large share of informal as well as low wage work. And what we see is that there is a growing policy emphasis on financial literacy, financial inclusion, social protection, etc. But there is a gap. That is, financial literacy is mostly framed as an individual competence. By framing it as an individual competence, we sometimes neglect the social context or the power relations or the structural constraints that are there. So the study's aim is to understand financial literacy among textile workers in India as a form of social and cultural capital and its implications for economic security. So my research questions for the study were: how do class, caste, gender, education, or even migration status shape financial literacy? Also, how do workplace and community institutions mediate access to financial knowledge and services? And in what ways does financial literacy translate or even fail to translate into economic security and labor welfare? So the theoretical framework that I have adopted here is Pierre-Bourdieu's forms of capital. So Pierre-Bourdieu in 1986 has talked about various forms of social capital, which includes economic capital, social capital, symbolic capital, cultural capital. So economic capital, of course, includes income, assets, savings, etc. Social capital means the networks, social networks, relationships, and memberships that one possesses. And cultural capital means the education or the skills or dispositions that one has. So in this review paper, financial literacy is read as a form of cultural capital. By cultural capital, I mean the knowledge, competencies, dispositions, etc., which are unevenly distributed through class, gendered, and caste-based structures. So it can be converted or convertible into economic capital only under certain institutional conditions. So the mainstream view about financial literacy is that it is the ability to budget, save, invest, or manage debt or use financial services. So this dictionary definition focuses on individual behavior or individual behavior change and responsible financial decisions. But sociologically, if we reframe it, financial literacy cannot be simply termed as an individual responsibility. Rather, it should be seen as a socially embedded practice, which is shaped by workplace norms and peer learning or family and kinship networks or even trade unions or separate groups, NGOs or microfinance institutions. So it is linked to power, voice and recognition in the labor market. So in India, textile workers, their employment conditions are truly pathetic because they have only informal contracts and they have very long hours And if we look at their socio-demographic profile, we can see a large presence of women workers there, and a lot of migrant workers also in the state as well as intra-state. And also, these people might come often from lower caste or minority communities. And there are also structural vulnerabilities involved. There is a problem with the income volatility and also high dependence on informal lenders. We see that lots of people depend on these loan sharks, and also there is an exposure to over indebtedness. So in this study, this is a pure review study. So I have used literature and empirical studies on informal workers in India, and literature on financial inclusion, microfinance and digital payments, and ILO reports, etc., etc. So my findings were that the workers with higher formal education have better understanding of basic banking or savings products, and they have greater confidence using digital financial services. However, even educated workers may face exploitation or exploitative contracts and debt. And also, low educated workers can develop practical financial know-how through experience and also peer learning. So this social networks, that is the social capital, is really important for their economic security. Even class position also limits how far their financial literacy, how far financial literacy can actually be converted into economic security. Also, women textile workers, we can see a lot of women textile workers. They often shoulder primary responsibilities for household budgeting, and they also, we witness them engaging in savings groups, chit funds, self-help groups, etc. Yet they may have limited decision-making power over major financial decisions. So they also face restrictions on mobility and access to formal institutions. As a result, women's financial skills are substantial but undervalued and constrained by patriarchal norms. And also, migration state might also shape access to financial services and information. Migrant workers frequently lack local documentation or proof of address, so they depend on informal remittance channels or co-workers for guidance. So they sometimes face language and cultural barriers in banks or digital platforms, which we have already seen, we have already discussed throughout. So what are the consequences that they suffer? I mean, they have a greater reliance on employers, contractors or money lenders, and they have heightened risk of wage theft, deceptive loan practices, fraud, and migrant networks can sometimes serve as informal social capital because they can share some tips and warnings, etc. And institutions can also either enable or block the conversion of financial literacy into economic security. So there are enabling roles like trade unions or NGOs or SFGs. They can help these people with financial literacy. They can host financial literacy camps, or even there are factories collaborating with banks for on-site account opening and things like that. And also there are government schemes, social insurance for workers, etc. And there are also, just like what we said about enabling factors, there are also certain blocking roles, like complex procedures and documentation that we discussed before. That there are a lot of complex procedures involving the banking, and there are also predatory microfinance that might trap these people. So they might have to give a high interest. So this informal lending services will be so exploitative. And without institutional support, financial literacy has limited protective power. So a digital financial inclusion also creates new inequalities, because push towards UPI or mobile wallets or app-based lending, it only benefits workers with smartphones or literacy or stable connectivity, but it systematically excludes or risks others, older workers or low literacy workers or those sharing phones, and they are also highly vulnerable to fraud or phishing or coercive loan apps. And digital skills become a new form of cultural capital. which is unequally distributed. So financial literacy operates as a social as well as a cultural capital when it is embedded in trust-based networks like family or co-workers or SHGs, etc. When it is supported by accessible institutions and rights-based frameworks, but structural constraints like low wages or informality or gender norms or migration or caste, these often prevent financial knowledge from translating into real economic security. Therefore, financial security is necessary but not sufficient for economic security. So what we can do is that we can strengthen our institutions and we can move beyond the individual training and combine financial education with labor rights education and legal awareness, or simplify the documentation process and portable social security, and even reach women or Dalit and minority workers with tailored and locally grounded programs. Even we can regulate predatory finance and digital practices. So that is what we can do. So this study is all about how financial literacy can support better savings and risk management and planning for the future. But we need to see that its effects are deeply uneven. It is shaped by class, gender, migration, and institutional access. So policies focusing only on individual financial education are inadequate. Substantial economic security for textile workers demands stronger institutions, labor protections, and interventions that tackle structural inequalities. With that note, I am concluding. Thank you.
Thank you for your insightful words, ma'am. This brings day one proceedings to a close. Thank you all for your active participation. We look forward to see you tomorrow, 15th July. Thank you all. Now.